Hello, everyone. It is Gail Ralston again, and as promised, we are going to go into lesson 8. As we're getting through it. We're getting through it. 8 is pretty exciting, pretty long. And who would have thought that reading Psalms 23, there was 10 supernatural promises made? But I'm pretty sure if you read any of the scriptures, you would find something hidden, like a hidden gem in it. That's what I wanted to say. It's a hidden gem. Because I'm just doing this because, like, it feels kind of nippy. The weather is changing, and you might see me with some blankets more often. Um, so, we are going to go into lesson 8. And this lesson is God's supernatural prosperity. Okay, so we want to start here. Now, I am going to give you the anchor scriptures. Okay, the scriptures that we are going to use. Okay, so the first one is Psalms 23:5. Um, you prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. And then Psalms 5, verse 8. Lead me, O Lord, in thy righteousness because of my enemies. Make thy way straight before my face. And then we have Psalm 6, verse 7 and 10. My eyes wastes away because of grief. It grows old because of all my enemies. Let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them turn back and be ashamed suddenly. Do I just go on? Do you want to add anything, or should I
Okay.
just?
My eyes waste away. You said that my enemies.
Yeah, that's Psalm 6, verse 7 and 10. 10. My eyes waste away because of grief. It grows old because of all my enemies. Let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them turn back and be ashamed suddenly.
What I want to say to that part, I want to say let God be praised and let my enemies be scattered. And that saying that I put my trust in my God and my Lord,
Mhm.
and and I am serving Him
Mhm.
with my heart. And once I am, once I am, you know, a follower of Him,
Mhm.
He lead me in the path of righteousness. He make my path straight. So He direct my steps. So by Him directing my steps, He lead at me, you know, in the way I should walk. You know, because even though those who seek it, you know, hate to get against me, you know, I always have to praise my Lord, my God, because even though they are seeking it, hate against me, I said, let my God be praised and let the enemy be scattered, because, you know, I rather serve my God and keep my keep my most trust in Him, because He's the one that's gonna lead me, in the path where I should go, you
Mhm.
know, and He's the one that's gonna help me through my storm, through the storm that I'm walking through, you know, you know, the enemy, which is the shadow of death. I fear no evil, so even though He prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies,
Mhm.
He anointed my head with oil, my cup overflow. He prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Those who gather around you and know that, where your heart is at with your Father,
Mhm.
and those who gathered around you, seems to want to, you know, judge you wrongly, say things, judge you wrongly, and say all manners of evil against that person, which is the enemy that does that. So once you know where your heart is at with the Lord
Mhm.
and the true God that you serve, even though they talk all manners of evil against you, you still rejoice. You still have to rejoice no matter what they are saying. Rejoice because the Lord is with you. And, He's our shield and our buckler. So we worry about not what they say or what they do. Worry about what my God say and what He wants at me to do.
Okay. Are you
So
talking about David? Or are you talking about the thing? Or like, I'm just kind of
no,
confused.
I'm just saying, where you said, where He prepared a table before me in the presence of my
Yeah.
enemies, and then I said, let God be praised and let the enemy be scattered.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this is this is what I am referring to in that part. Because
Okay.
is like you know you know nobody knows what in a person's heart, what's in another person's heart, but the Almighty, or what another person is thinking or feeling. So person that may sit or gather around you just because certain things, yeah, you may not do or share, they are quick to judge or say all manners of evil against you. Say, oh, he sees this or he's that. When things is not how you may be looking at it. A person could be in the meditation with him and the Lord.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what
I
I'm
got. I
saying?
got what you're saying. Okay. So Psalm 7 verse 6, it says, "Arise, O Lord, in your anger; lift yourself up because of the rage of my enemies. Rise up for
Right.
me to the judgment you have commanded."
Right. Lift yourself up,
Right.
which is rejoice.
Right.
Because the ways of my enemy. Rejoice, regardless of what you say I am, or what you say I may be, or what you say I may do,
Right.
because I'm not doing what you're doing. I'm not following what you're doing.
Right.
And he said, oh, because we're doing that, he's just sitting there and not saying nothing. He's just doing it. Hey, that's all right. That's okay.
Rustin, what are you talking
No,
about?
no,
Like,
no, no,
are
no,
you just
no.
doing hypotheticals or something?
I'm just using figure of speech. I'm just saying.
Right, because I am so lost right now. It's like, is he trying to take one situation like
no,
like
no,
I'm
no,
almost
I'm
lost. Like,
I'm not.
what is he?
I'm not.
Are you speaking of David, or are you trying to take this to say like this is something that you're going through?
No, this is what I'm saying. Prepare a table before me in the presence of.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm just confused because like I hear what you're saying, but I don't know where this all comes into. David, it's almost like you're off track and you're trying to
say something.
say like innuendos. Yeah, like okay, it's almost like if you're just sitting there and somebody thinking, and it's like
yeah, cause what I'm saying is that you know we got to be aware of just like how you was talking about the sheep and the wolves, right?
uh-huh.
And we are the sheep, and God is our shepherd that leads us.
No, let's just correct that because we are the sheep and the wolves because there are a lot of sheep, wolves, and sheep clothing. So we are both. We just have to decide who are we going to. Are we going to be on the side of the Lord, and we are His sheep, or are we going to be the wolves that's in sheep clothing?
Well, you got people that's sheep in wolf clothing,
Right.
And who are there to devour, which I mean, try to, you know, wow.
Okay, I'm just confused. Let me just
Holy Spirit help me.
Yeah, just hold that thought and let me just get through this because you got me off. Okay, Psalm 7:15 says he made a pit and dug it out and has fallen into the ditch which he made. Now Psalms 18:3, 17, and 48. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. He delivered me from my enemies. Yea, thou lifted me above those that rise against me.
Okay. Lifted me above those who rise against me. This is the words I just spoke about, where I said,
right, but I was just confused.
Where I just said about, even though we gathered, and those who may seek to hate against you.
But hate is a strong word. Like, why would they hate against you?
You don't let that. Basically, I'm trying to say you don't let that bother you, because you know who you are.
But why would someone hate? Like, that's a strong word. Like those who hate against you. Like,
which is
I mean those because there's a big difference in those who don't like you and then those that don't hate you. Hate is so strong. So there's a difference. Like, do they not like you or do they not hate? Like, in David's case, these people hated him. So that's why I'm asking you, are you speaking about David? Because you're bringing in situations
Well,
like where are
okay.
you
Let me.
going?
Okay, in a way, yeah. I'm speaking on David. God, I'm speaking on David part. Yes, where he said those that hated him. That's why I said, let God be praised and let the enemy be scattered. Yeah, so I'm saying where they see what David was doing, and Saul was, was out to seek to do harm to him, right? So he know who he served, So he put his trust in the Most High.
Right,
Yeah, and so I'm saying follow in his will, you know,
right,
follow in his will. So it's with us the same way, where you have, you know, those who are around, not even those who are around, people that might come around, You know what I'm saying? And it will show a way like, you know, they are for you or they with you, but all of them, they are really against you. But we know the Lord that I serve. You know what I'm saying? So, even though people may say things or want to judge us in a wrongly way, you know what I'm saying? I still rejoice because, you know, um, they may talk all manners of evil against us, but you know, um,
us meaning as Christians.
huh?
Us, you meaning as Christians?
Yeah, those who like are followers of God,
Hmm.
children of God, they talk evil against us, but we know that we rejoice because we serve a true and most loving
Right,
God,
right,
because He's our shield and our guide and our protection. That's why I said, let God be praised and let the enemies be scattered, because
right.
all they're gonna do is, you know, come and try to, should I use that word, manipulate?
Yeah, that's what they do. They try to manipulate you. Yeah,
Manipulate and, you know, say or say of things about you when you know some something they may say is not so or is not true. So what I'm saying, that's why it says where when things happen, we count it all joy when when we face the various trials.
right,
So, when these things happen, we rejoice. That means we are counting all joy. We count it all joy because we know who we believe in and who we trust in.
right.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right. Well, you got it across. Now I understand. Okay, so Psalms 25:2. Oh my God, I trust, lean on, rely on, and am confident in you. Let me not be put to shame or my hope in you be disappointed. Let not my enemies triumph over me. And just these here, one, two, three verses, four verses right there in different parts of Psalm. Like just reading this tells me that Um, First of all, David was in fear of his life, and he was going through the storm, what we call the storm, what we call trials and tribulations. He was going through it. David sounded like David was about to lose his mind the way he is crying out. And it just reading it to me, like he was really truly in fear of his
Yeah,
life
yeah.
from these people that were against them.
When you say lose his mind, because they are all
Against them.
against him, and also they are judging him. They are judging him.
Well, he brought the judgment part against himself when he slept with somebody else's wife and then killed their husband. So, I mean, but it
Okay,
wasn't
but
for
but
them to
but
judge
but
him.
but okay. When he slept with someone else,
Bathsheba,
what's her name?
Bathsheba,
Bathsheba.
no,
Okay.
yeah, yes,
When he
Bathsheba.
slept with her, and then um, he know what he did when he slept with her,
Right,
but
because he
instead
repented.
of the reason why he repented and asked the Father for forgiveness of his sin, because he instead of he said that it was his doing on what he did, he put it on what's the other person name again? I'm not good with names. He put it on the other person, and they killed um which is
The Bathsheba's um,
husband, right?
husband, yeah.
Yeah, he put it on him, and said, he caused it him to do what he did, So when he seen, where his heart had been troubled because he was wrong, David, he was wrong. He come to the Lord and say, Father God, forgive me for what I have done. I did something and I know it wasn't right, it was wrong. And instead of me saying, take the blame or the fault for all of it, he put it on her husband, you know,
Right.
and 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 that's what you know had happened. Because when you was reading, this is why I didn't say nothing, because I was thinking when you were explaining it, that's why I said be quick to hear and slow to speak. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
I was listening to what you were saying,
Right.
and if it was something that you wasn't saying right, I would have spoke out and correct you. But I felt you had it, so I just
Mm-hmm.
kept in my thought in my meditation. Let the Holy Spirit lead me. I don't want to
Right.
speak from my own heart. Let the Holy Spirit lead me.
Right. Okay. So, anyways, so I'm going to go into Psalm 27, 11 to 12. Um, it says, teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain and even path because of my enemies, um, those who lie in wait for me. Give me not up to the will of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen up against me. They breathe out cruelty and violence. And
Right.
then Psalms 31, verse 8, it says, and you have not shut me up, given me into the hand of the enemy.
False witnesses that rise against me.
Um, right. And so, and basically, he's just saying, and that tells us right then, they're reading Psalms 31, verse 8, is that he will not leave you or forsake you.
Right.
They say, you have not shut me up. And that's because even though David has sinned, the Most High have forgiven him, and He's not. That's the one thing that I want to say that the Most High will not do is throw you to your enemies. And that's what we do not have to worry about that because he's going to hold our hand and walk us through. He's going to pull us out.
Okay.
Wait, let me just finish this up. Even though David went through a lot, he went through a lot. These people was hunting him down like a rabid dog. They were hunting him down. They wanted to take his life. And some of the storm he had to go through. It was not like, oh, they're after you. Oh, I'm going to save you. It's like, no, let me see how much you have learned. How long are you willing to stay within, I want to say, my commandments? How long are you willing to endure uh, the pain and the fear before I pull you out of that storm? Because what we all know is that we will go through a storm. We will feel some type of way because David was in fear of his life, but the Most High allowed him. It was almost like a test. How are you going to rely on yourself, or are you going to call out to me for help? And we can tell in songs that he cried unto the Lord, seemed like each and every moment of the day. It was almost as if he had to sleep with one eye open and one eye on the enemy. But once he cried out and he saw the changes, to me, that's why he said, um, he make me to lie down in green pastures. Like, go ahead and lay down and rest because I'm watching you and I got this, and I will not allow them to take your life. Okay, Russ, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, like I was saying that even though, David knew what he did and the Father forgive him, because he knows how, you know, David was in serving him
Right.
and, obeying unto him and following in his commandments. Even though, he forgiven him, of his sins, he still, you know, he forgive him, but he still will be judged,
Hmm.
because remember, he slept with someone's wife, but the Lord sees his heart and see, what he did. So he's going through a suffering. He go through a suffering where it's like, um, um, I'm gonna use myself. I did things. You know what I'm saying? And I asked for forgiveness. I talked to the Lord and I asked him for forgiveness.
Right.
And the Lord, forgave it me, but I'm still going to be judged.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even though right now, you know, I may can't see things that I do or things that I may do that I might do around um, others,
Mhm.
but the Lord sees it
Hmm.
and He knows at my heart and He knows that is something that I Um, I could be doing that, that, you know, I, I am forgiven for, I could be forgiven for,
Hmm.
you know, or, he, he, he's, he knows that I am a faithful and true serve child, serving him
Right.
with my heart. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, um, I may do things that people say, well, you do this because your actions speak or this.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm doing things I don't even know I'm doing, because, you know, I mean, I walk by faith, not by sight. You understand what I'm saying? So that no one don't say, well, Austin, you doing this, or what you doing is not. I could be doing something. Sometimes a person should correct me. Correct me. I mean, what I mean by correct me, like I said, I could do things because when I could see, I see most of my mistakes myself. Yeah,
Well, if I close my
you
eyes,
know, and
wait, hold on a second. Let me just say, because like I'm trying to follow you because you're saying like sometimes like you can do things that you're not aware of what you're doing, and um like someone should correct you, but if someone is trying to correct you and you don't take the correction, then what do you call it then?
if someone is trying
To
to
correct you and you're
correct
not
me,
taking the correction.
and it is it all depends of how you correct me, how you are correcting me. If you're saying that, I'll put it, if I'm doing something and I don't realize that this is what I'm doing, and you correct me, I'm a I'm a I'm a stop, and I'm a use my own senses, and I'm gonna speak to myself, and I'm gonna say, well, this is what you was really doing all the time. So I'm a pray on that and ask the Father to help me, because I always ask Him when I pray. I say, Father God, help me in ways where I am weak, because I'm not perfect. No,
No,
none
no
of us,
one,
none
right.
of us
No
are
one's
perfect.
perfect. But this is what my take on this. Okay, now that's, you use yourself as an example. Now let me just use myself as an example and the same thing, the same scenario that you just said. If I am doing something, I'm not going to say that I'm doing it because I'm not aware that I'm doing it. No, I absolutely know exactly what I am doing. I know the reason why I am doing it. And when someone comes to correct me, you know, sometime, people say, well, the old saying, I'm not going to say people say, because, so I just don't like to use like people said, people said, people said, forget what people said. The saying is, um, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So when you're saying, like, if a person comes harshly to you, then you don't want to hear it harshly. But if someone comes to and they almost have to treat you during that correction, I can't say that, um, oh, now I know I did what I did, but don't you come to me and say it in a, it's almost saying like I want my cake and I want to eat it too. Like I make my mistakes. Yeah, I'm not. When you are making a correction, that it should come from a place of love. Now,
Right.
it can come from a place of love, but that does not mean that I'm going to butter it up for you. Like if you come and
I
you correct
understand.
me, then however you say it is how you say it, because you can't have your cake and eat it. It's almost like it's almost as if you're putting it like, I do things but I don't know what I'm doing, so when you
Okay.
bring it to me you have to say it this way because I'm fragile. If you was not fragile, you know during whatever it was that you were doing while you were, um whatever it is that you were doing, it's almost like, you know what I mean? You can have your cake and eat it too, because somewhere
Okay.
along the line, you have to take responsibility for your actions. And that is why you take it to the Lord in prayer.
Could I?
And wait, let me just finish. You take it to the Lord in prayer. Now, how he decides he's going to handle it is how he decides he's going to handle it. Because we don't know whether he's going to judge us harshly. We don't know, you know, the judgment will be like how David's judgment was. He had to go through the storm.
Right.
We don't know how he is going to judge. So when we say, oh, you have to, you can't do this way, you can't do that way, the flesh cannot judge the flesh anyway.
Right. Right. Could I?
And
Oh, okay. I just want. You're correct right there. I just want to say one thing. Um, on that. You see, uh, like I just said, I walk by faith, not by sight. You see, um, when I come around, I'm using myself, right?
mhm,
When I come around, say if a whole lot of gathering, a lot of people
mhm,
around, right? And I'm sitting here, I'm sitting amongst y'all. Everybody's talking. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hearing voices here, voices behind me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything, but I'm just sitting, just being quiet.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm 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 dealing with something that, I'm dealing with something within myself. It's is like I don't have vision. You understand what I'm saying? So I could hear who's around me, but I cannot see who's around me. What I'm saying? And if someone is referring to me or saying something to me, and I do not know if it's they are addressing me, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't acknowledge me by saying, Ralston, what you think about this? Ralston, what you feel about this? And I just stay mum. As president could say, such and such and such and such. I may not say nothing. Say, oh, what's wrong with him? There's nothing wrong. But I don't know if you're addressing me. You could be on your phone. You could be talking. Like I said, I hear voices here, 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 here. You could be talking to the next person next to you. I don't know that.
Right. But then you see, you
Yeah.
always use that as an example, but it keeps coming back to the same thing. Sometimes you can have voices here, there. First of all, if you're not in a conversation with someone, because a lot of times you are around people that know your name. So if they're not addressing you and you're not in a conversation, I can see and hear conversations going on around me and not respond to them because no one said, oh, Gail, hey, Gail. So therefore, when I'm hearing these conversations going around and I can see, I'm still not getting in the middle of that conversation. First of all, it's just not my personality. But we have been out and people would have conversations and then you say, huh? And then I go, oh no, Russell, they're not talking to you. So sometimes you do respond to it,
Right.
But you can't keep using that as an example because depending on the situation, you do respond to people when they're not talking because you don't know that they're talking. And then, I would be like, oh no, Russell, they're not talking to you. Or you are in a middle of people, you hear voices here and voices there, and they are saying, so Ralston, or Jerry may do, hey, yo, Rob, you know what I mean? Or somebody else come in and it's like, hey, Uncle Ralston. So you hear and know when someone is talking to you because they are addressing you.
Right. But what I'm saying that also too, they call my name, yes.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
And I know they're judging, but they are okay. I'm gonna use it this way. When I was in New York, right, and I was at Cheryl. Cheryl husband was.
Hold on a second. Do not be using her name because she would just try to come back and just say when you would stand where you would stand.
Okay. Her husband was saying something to me, right? And I didn't know he was addressing me. Because me and her had a conversation.
Right.
She in turn and said, you got to call his name because, he don't know who you was talking to. You could have been on the phone. And I said, right, see?
Right, but normally people will address when you are talking to someone and you are addressing someone, then you are saying, hey, Ralston, you know what I mean? So did that show come on? I'm using your name. When you're around people already know that you cannot see. And sometimes you can be in the middle of a conversation and then you'd be like, yeah, so did you see that show? And then they'll turn around and be like, hey, Ralston, but that's what I'm saying. If you it's almost like you can't pick and choose when the situation benefits you. Like when people use and they say you're having a conversation, normally people say the name to the person that they are talking. Like if I was walking in the room, because sometimes I'll do that. Like, but I know it's only us inside. Like I would just come in and go, did you hear me? Let's do this and that. And then you'll go, You talking to me in a bit, and then I would say, yeah, it's only us in here.
Right. I'm gonna say something that I did the other day. This was when little Jerry was here. I came out the room, and him and his father was discussing something.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it wasn't addressing towards me, you know what I'm saying. But by me listening, I understand
Right.
what they were saying.
Saying, right.
You know what I'm saying? So I got into the conversation because I know
Right.
what
It was
is being
exactly.
addressed is being addressed.
Right.
But if I don't know what is being addressed,
Right. But you listen to it. That's what I'm
I
saying.
listen, I listen to
Right.
it. Listen, I would listen to it,
Right.
but I could listen to it and it could be something that being said that is really none of my business. So
Right,
I
but
really
that's what I'm
do
saying.
not.
You pick and choose. Basically, you really know. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like when you're using something and you're using it as a crutch. It cannot be a crutch forever. Like,
What you
oh,
mean a crutch,
like,
honey?
okay, like sometimes whenever you use the example, you always say, like, I'm in the room with people and people are talking here and people are talking here and I don't know. But then when you are in a room with people, then your name is called. If you walk into a conversation and and you recognize the voice of the two parties that's having this conversation, then you be like, yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
heard about that. So you put yourself into that conversation
Right.
because like you said, you listen to this is a conversation that you all has had before, but but you do inject yourself into these conversations and you are aware because majority of the time when people are talking to you, they're going to use your name.
Not all the
I said
time.
majority of the
Um,
time people will use your name, but you cannot take a situation and then it's like, well, I'm going to use it when it benefits me. Like, no, that is called adapting to your surroundings.
right.
And you know what I mean?
It's
When you
like
sitting there with your homeboy talking, all your homeboys are talking, and you're aware of the conversation. You have a knowledge of the conversation. You just gonna be like, yeah, and what about that time? You know what I mean? You inject yourself into the conversation because it's not a one-sided conversation.
uh,
It is a group conversation that's going on.
I understand, but sometimes I don't say anything because sometimes I may speak on something out of the way and don't know what is it. Okay, it's like remember the time when you all had the little party here, and I was sitting out here with y'all, and I heard what everybody was saying, but I didn't speak out and say anything because some of the thing that was being spoken wasn't our a reason why I didn't put my 2 cents in because I can't speak on something that I really don't know of.
Right, and you won't speak
You
on
know
it.
what
I
I'm
have
saying?
sight and will not enter into a conversation that I have no knowledge of. So I mean, that's just
So
goes without
then
saying.
let's have someone turn to me and say, Ralston, what you think about this? And I'll listen to you
That's what I
and I
just
give
said.
my opinion.
People will
You
call you
know,
by name.
you
Anyways, let's
know,
get through the rest of this. But I do get what you're saying though. Psalms 55:23 says, "But you, O God, shall bring them down to the pit of destruction. Bloodthirsty and deceitful men should not live out half their days, but I will trust in you." Now, Psalms 57, verse 6 says, "They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have dug a pit before me. Into the midst of it, they themselves has fallen, Selah." And then Psalms 56:9 says, "Then shall my enemies turn back in the day that I cry out. This I know, for God is for me." That's powerful right there.
Yes.
That's
it's true.
powerful.
God is for me.
Right, right,
The God you serve, the God you
right.
trust,
Yeah,
the
that's
God
powerful right there.
you surrendered
And because
all
he was chosen
to.
already by
Yeah, we are
the Most
chosen
High.
by Him.
No, I'm just speaking with
You know.
David when he's saying this because he was already chosen. He was chosen. He was chosen to be king. You know what I mean? So the Most High chose David, and he would have um, rescued him from the enemy. Psalm 59:1 says, "Deliver me from my enemies, O Lord. Defend and protect me from those who rise up against me." So he's looking. He is looking. He's not going to his brother. He's not going to his father. He's not. David is dependent on the Most High
Yes,
himself.
because he, like what you said, He's looking, Father,
Right.
deliver me,
Hmm.
protect me from those
Right.
who rise up
Against
against
me.
me. You
Right.
see,
Because he the king. He
you
the
see,
king.
I understand. You see, David sees all this. He sees who is,
Yeah, he knows.
and he
Hmm.
knows who's doing
Right.
what, or he could see it in them. You
Right.
see, with a person that don't have sight, it's like, I could feel something,
Right.
but I don't want to feel it and say, you know, yeah, you're doing this toward me. I don't know that. It's like me saying you're doing something toward me. That means I'm judging you. You know what I'm saying? And a person that could see would like say, no, she not doing that towards you or such and such and such. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? But in the thought that runs in through me, I may say, well, this person's against me. I could be, I may not say it out
Right.
to that person, but the thought that comes in me, I may feel, this person got something against this person's against me. I will go. You see, this is the trouble I have. I have. This is why I go to the Lord in prayer. This is the trouble I have. You know what I'm saying? I feel things.
Right.
I will feel things. You know what I'm saying? But this is why you say you have to test every spirit. I will feel things, and I will feel that this person have this against me. This
Right.
person saying that against me. I may not come out and say it to you, but I will go to the Lord in prayer and I'll pray on it. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that I'm really feeling about something, the Father will reveal it to me.
Right. But see, this is the flip side to that also, is that like if I'm always thinking that, you know, well, maybe somebody's doing this to me, somebody's doing that, you know what I mean? I just feel like this person's against me. I just feel like, you know what I mean? Then I am going to sit down and reassess myself because if I'm always thinking that somebody is after me or somebody's doing something to me, then I have to sit down and ask myself, are you doing things to people that you always thinking that they're retaliating and they're trying to come back on you? Would you know what I mean? Like
But this is
what
what
can
I'm
you
saying
be doing yourself that
a
you would
while
think
ago. This
that
is what I'm
someone's
saying a
doing
while
it?
ago. I said, okay, if I'm doing things to people, why they come back and retaliate
But no,
to me?
but
I
are
may,
they?
I may, uh, I don't know. I could be acting away. I could be doing something that I don't even know myself I'm doing it. If the next person don't even say, Ralston, what's the matter? Why you are acting? You know, you know, enlighten me. Let me know. Ralston, you acting kind of funny. You acting,
But a
and
person would not. I don't because look, you know, people are individuals. That everyone has their own individual personality, and that's what makes us uniquely. us because that's how we were made with our own personality. People have their own agendas, so I try my damnedest not to live my life or do things and assume that someone is doing this to me and someone's doing that to me. Now, if I have to put my focus on someone, it's because, you know what I mean, either you have done something to me, and so now my thought process would be, now, every time I turn around or this person turned around, that, you know what I mean, I'm doing something to them. And so now I'm going to think, oh, is this person doing something to me? Why would I be thinking that? Because I have done something to somebody else that I know that was wrong. So I'm going to assume that you are there to try to retaliate against me.
Okay,
You
if
have
I
to
did something
process.
against someone, already asked for forgiveness.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
On
But
that,
right, but even though you have asked for forgiveness, you know what I mean, you have not completely let it go, because there's no way that you should be living your life thinking that, oh, well, maybe this person, this person's the enemy, that person's the enemy, this person's going to do this and this person's going to do that. Because a lot of times we will ask for forgiveness for something and then repeat the same thing over that we just asked for forgiveness from.
It's saying that I haven't let go. It's saying that.
Listen, we're going to still stop at 6, okay?
Huh?
We're going to still stop at 6. No, just finish talking. I'm just saying. No, just finish saying what you're saying.
It's not saying that I haven't let go. Like I said, I asked for forgiveness of what I did to
Right.
a person. But with me being around in a place where I know, you see, okay, I know you, I know Little Jerry, I know Big Jerry. You know what I'm saying? If someone else came here and I really don't know them,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to and fro about my way. Not saying I'm acting funny, not coming in and gathering with y'all. I'm going to and fro my way, because is that, the conversation that y'all are in, I'll put it like this, that's not my conversation.
Right, and but that's how it is. Like the conversation, that's just you know what I mean.
Then let's invited and say,
right, but the most people that do come through that door is and has been people that you know. That's what I'm saying. When you kind of assess the situation, it's a thing of,
But that's untrue though, because some people that came here,
who
um I have, voices I really don't catch all the time, but I know uh if I'm hearing, I will hear you, I will hear Big Jerry, I will hear.
But a lot of voices that you hear are not people that are here. Those are just people that are on speakerphone.
Maybe if Tiffany came here.
When Tiffany comes in, Tiffany always say, "Oh, hi, Uncle Ralston." So you can't
always address me, right?
Right.
She always addressed me.
So that's what I'm saying. There's no voices that you don't know, because I'm not a type of person that just have people just in and out.
I know. Sometimes, like Tiffany, old man, right? He comes, I may hear him. I'm not sure if that's him. So sometimes I may walk, and I'll be guessing to myself, that sounds like
Well,
That really
well,
wrong?
even when Rob,
No.
when Rob is here and you come out the room or something, he say, "Hey, Uncle
Sometimes he
Ralston."
don't. Sometimes he doesn't say nothing.
Well, then,
Even Dan came here. Little Jerry had to tell me one time. Dan is there. I said, Dan is there. He
well,
said,
when
yeah.
Dan comes, Dan may greet you at the door and say hi. Dan is somewhere sitting there quiet. Dan is the quietest one when he comes. So really, no one is really hearing Dan. Dan is not a, hey,
I'm not a talkable person either. I'm not a person that the only reason why I would really sit down and really rap with you and talk with you, uh, my spirit got to really feel you. I got to really know you. My spirit got to really
right,
feel you for
exactly,
me to really sit
right,
down
right.
and have a
I get it.
honest
Right.
conversation with
Right,
you. If my
right.
spirit don't feel you,
Right,
this
get
goes not to just hear
right,
anyone.
right. Okay, let me just get past a little more past this as we get ready to stop. Psalm 60 verse 11 says, "Give us help from trouble, for vain is help of man." And then Psalm 61 and 3, verse 3 says, "For you have been a shelter and a refuge for me, a strong tower against the adversary." And now Psalm 64:1 says, "Hear my voice, O God, in my complaint. Guard and preserve my life from the terror of the enemy." And then Psalm 71, verse 13 says, "Let them be put to shame and consume who are adversaries to my life." And then Psalms 91, verse 3 says, "Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence." So, guys, we're going to stop right there, and then we're going to come back, and then we will finish.
Pick up from where we left off.
We will finish 8 because 8 is big. And like I said, I do not like rushing through things because there's so much to learn from it.
Right.
So we will see you guys in a bit, okay? So stay tuned. Don't go far, okay? Gavin Ralston will be right back.
Yeah.